Three little piggy banks. Math count. When Lucas dumped the coins out of his piggy bank, he noticed that there were only nickels and dimes, and the number of nickels was twice the number of dimes. If there were 50 nickels, what was the total value of the coins Lucas dumped out of his piggy bank? Let's review the problem and analyze the information. So we know he noticed that there were only nickels and dimes, and the number of nickels was twice as the number of dimes. If there were 50 nickels, what was the total value? Okay, so this actually all we have to do is find out how much nickels there are, how much dimes there are, and add them together. So there's 50 nickels, and we know that each nickel is worth 5 cents. Plus, well, how much dimes were there? Well, we know that the number of nickels was twice the number of dimes, so 1/2 of 50 would be 25. So there are 25 dimes times, what's the value for a dime? Well, each dime is 10 cents, so 25 times 10. Now we add. So 50 times 5 equals 250, and 25 times 10 also equals 250. After you add those two numbers, you get 500. 500 cents, or the same thing as $5. So I'm going to take that part and I'm just going to make it smaller a little bit so we have more room for the other problems. Okay. When Franco dumped the coins out of his piggy bank, he noticed that there were only nickels and quarters. And the number of quarters was 6 more than the half number of nickels. If the total value of Franco and Lucas's dumped out of each piggy bank was the same, then how many coins did Franco dump out of his piggy bank? So how many coins, not what's the value of the coins. Okay, so now we just have to stop and think. Well, first let's try to create an equation with what we have. So they said that the total value of the coins were the same. So from the last time the value was $5. So I'll turn it into the terms of cents, which is 500. Now, what's the other side gonna be? Well, I'm going to let let n equal number of nickels, and I'm going to let q represent the number of quarters. Now we can write an easier equation. So we know that the number of quarters was 6 more than half of the number of nickels. So Q equals 6 plus 1/2 of n. And then we know that each nickel is worth 5 cents. And each quarter is worth 25 cents, so 25Q. Now all we have to do is solve. Well, we can rewrite, so we can leave 5n the same, but we can rewrite Q as this expression over here. So then we can combine like terms. And now you can pause the video and go on ahead, try to solve the expression by yourself. Okay, back. Let's see if this is how you did it. After we replace Q with 6 plus 1/2 n, we can use a distributive property. So 25 times 6 is 150, and 25 times 1/2 of n would be 12.5 n. Now we combine like terms. So then first let's do the n's. So that would be 17.5 n plus 150, and we can subtract 150 on both sides. So then on the left side, it would become 350 is equal to 17.5 n. And we want to figure out what n is, so we can do 350 minus 17.5, which is 20. So our answer, well, not our answer, n is equal to 20. Okay. Here. So now that we know that n equals 20, let's find Q. So up here, I'm just going to write 20, n is equal to 20. And what is Q then? Well, Q would be 6 plus 1/2 of 20, which is the same as 6 plus 10, which is also 16. So then Q would equal 16, and the total number of coins would be 20 plus 16, which is 36. So how many coins did Franco dump out of his piggy bank? 36 coins. All right, now I'm just going to bring all of this down here. Make that smaller a little. Maybe make these two equations smaller too. All right, now let's do number 3. Okay, so it says, when Callie dumped the coins out of her piggy bank, she noticed that there were only nickels, dimes, and quarters. The number of dimes was one more, so the number of dimes was one more than twice of the number of quarters, and there were half as many quarters as nickels. The coins dumped out of Callie's piggy bank had a total value equal to that of the coins dumped out of Franco's and Luca's piggy banks combined. And notice how it says combined. What was the total value of the nickels and dimes dumped out of Callie's piggy bank? So there are multiple steps to this problem, but I want us to just think it through first. So first, we should find how much nickels there are, how much dimes there are, how much quarters there are, and at the same time figure out how much is it worth with the nickels, dimes, and quarters each. Then we can write an equation. So just like last time, I'm gonna let n equal nickel, let d equal dimes, and let q equal quarters. But remember, this is not the same as last time because it's a different problem. Alright, so I'm going to first set this up. N equals, D equals, and Q equals. So which is how many nickels, how many dimes, and how many quarters. So let's first fill in all of these. The number of dimes was one more than twice than the number of quarters. So one more than 2Q. And there were half as many quarters as nickels. So that. Okay. Now we're trying to find the total value of the nickels and dimes. Well, okay, well, we also it was also telling us that the whole piggy bank had a total value equal to that of the coins dumped out of Franco's and Lucas's piggy banks combined. So first we have to figure out Franco's value. So from the last time, remember how Q equaled 16 over here? Well, let's first do Franco. Franco's was 20 times 5 plus 6 times 25. 16 plus 20 times 25. Here it became 100 plus 400, which also equaled 500, which is also $5. Okay, so then what is it combined? $10, but at the same time, in terms of cents, 10,000 cents. And this is all equal to 2Q plus 1 plus 2Q plus Q. So then all we have to do is solve and combine like terms, which would be 999 is equal to 2Q plus 2Q plus Q, which is 5Q. And then we do 999 divided by 5, which is 199.8 equals Q. But over here we're gonna put in the the values of the dimes. So let's calculate. And we don't need a Q anymore. So N is 2 times 199.8, which is actually, I'll use a different color for this, maybe yellow. 200.6, and the dime is 1 plus 2Q, which is 201.6. So what was the total value of nickels and dimes? So let's add that. Yeah, maybe you can't see that. Okay, I'll write it down here. 200.6 plus 201.6. That is, you do the standard algorithm. 402.2 as the answer. So the total value was $4.22.